Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. Taping here on the 20th of October. This will hit on the weekend, the 23rd of October, 2021.
Gee, funny how that works.
Yeah, I think we planned that, didn't we?
I think so.
For once, we got something right. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
We've got a movie review for you, some movie news here in the first segment. And just to give you a little teaser, since next weekend will be Halloween weekend,
Ooh.
Uncle Dave and Uncle Kev will invite you to sit by our creepy fireside, but not in a creepy way, to discuss the all-time greatest horror movies.
Yes, our personal favorites.
Yes. We're not going to buy into all the critics' hype and garbage.
Nope.
They don't know what they're talking about. We do.
Our personal favorites.
So, special Halloween edition of the weekend edition next week. But for now, well, funny
you should mention Halloween edition.
We're actually going to go ahead and review
Halloween Kills this week.
So let's get into that, I guess.
It's a teaser.
The second of the trilogy.
Yes.
That's been set up here. Of course, the first one, just called Halloween, was a phenomenal smash hit a couple years ago. Brought in, I think, about 160, 170 million domestically at the box office, which is unbelievable for a horror movie. So, of course, the franchise was back.
Of course,
successful, better than ever with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Of course, because John Carpenter was involved with it. And again, had some involvement. I love this one because it picked up where the last one left off. And you got a little bit of a different perspective from what happened in the original. I kind of like that little twist they threw in on that.
Yeah, before we get into the weeds on this, let's talk about the Halloween movies as a whole. Because there are so many of them. And I read a little bit on the background, because I'll admit, I have not watched every Halloween movie. I have not.
No, there's too many to try and keep track of. And then you have the one-off Season of the Witch.
Which we'll get to later. We'll get to
that discussion.
That, of course, was Halloween 3, which... oh my God, am I supposed to say this? Is the podcast world going to rain insults down on me?
And
might be my favorite because I love it so much.
The quirkiness of it, I am with you.
The articles I read have actually said that movie, panned originally, has now gained cult classic status. People now realize you can't take it as, oh, well, you stop doing Michael Myers. You got to take it for what it is on its own.
It's a Halloween movie.
And it's scary as shit. It will probably make my list for next week.
Halloween, 3 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Creepy song, creepy idea. Again, something we'll get into not only this week, but next week.
Because that's your teaser.
Yeah, I got a feeling about 2 or 3 John Carpenter movies will make my list next week.
Yeah, at the minimum.
Yep. But, I was reading these articles talking about the backstories involving the other Halloween movies. Of course, I dismiss the Rob Zombie movies, the
remakes.
I don't care about those. The ones that intrigued me were the ones that broke the traditional timeline, following the first couple John Carpenter's original, and then two, where there was a psychic bond between Michael Myers and, was it supposedly Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter or something like that?
Yeah, there was some goofy thing there.
And of course there was H2O and Resurrection and all those. I am not going to even claim, if I watched them, I don't remember them.
They weren't that memorable.
Right.
But where you get into the first 2 with Michael, and now we're getting into this trilogy, this is where it shines.
Right. And This, as I mentioned, is the middle segment of the trilogy. Next year, we're supposed to get Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
But
will it?
And we will not spoil. We'll try not to spoil. This is an odd movie. It's a very good movie for a middle chapter.
It is
how I look at it.
It was enjoyable. There were some really cheesy moments, of course.
Well, and the thing is, you try to take it for what it is, and parts of it, I was thinking, Jesus God, can we ever get over how dumb people act in horror movies?
I know,
because this one was right up there with any of the old Friday the 13th movies with how stupid people were acting. Number one, do you not realize he never runs? If you run, you will get away from him.
Run. Do not look back.
Do not try to hide. Do not try to hide.
Just run. Don't look back. Don't try to hide. Just keep moving as fast as you can, because it's going to be 2 to 3 times faster than he moves. But
they never get it. They never get it. And they always try to fight back with the worst weapons or in the worst situations where you know damn well you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
In a car with broken out windows, open the door and get out and run.
And I'm sorry, if you have a gun and you're shooting at him, know how to shoot. And do not be within striking distance of the door. A classic Tucker and Dale versus Evil moment.
Yeah,
when that scene happened, Jen and I looked at each other. We went, "It's been a doozy of a day, officer."
Yeah. Now, of course, Halloween Kills is day and date as of last weekend, so you can get it on Peacock if you have premium for $5. Otherwise, go out to the movie theater and see it.
And you will know the stupidity of everybody in this because, well, you know it's a trilogy.
So in terms of plot, you're not going to get a lot. You're not getting a exposition. You're not getting a climax. You're getting everything in between.
Right.
So that I found it interesting how they structured this, where Jamie Lee Curtis really doesn't have much to do in this movie.
No, but it's lining everything up for the final, what could supposedly will be their final confrontation.
Right. And I liked how they brought in all the old characters.
Yep, as they're now grown up.
Yep. And of course, Anthony Michael Hall, I think
as
he's
Tommy
fantastic.
Doyle, he was awesome. The chanting, though, I could have done without.
Again, one of the articles I read, as I did do research on this to try to give you the best review possible, is that Jamie Lee Curtis actually, and she kind of pointed this out to me before I saw the movie. So as I was watching it, maybe it brought it to my attention a little bit more. But she said she liked in this one the mob mentality aspect of it and how it kind of reflects on modern society. So she looks at this movie as being a little more deep than some of the other. It's kind of working on two levels. Number one, you got the stupid people who don't know how to get away from Michael Myers. But on the other level, you do have kind of a social commentary
where everybody wants to band together to take out.
Didn't she at some point yell, stop it, you fucking sheep?
Yeah.
Because they're just following the lead. One person starts going crazy. People follow him.
Yep.
And it leads them into bad places and doing things they should not be doing.
It was at the wrong moment that occurred.
Right. So it kind of made it seem a little bit more impactful to me, reading that and having her point that out. I mean, I would have picked up on it, but
yeah, but it still felt kind of cheesy at the same time.
Now, the best thing about this movie, and I don't care, this is not a spoiler, but it's like an Easter egg, and I don't care if I'm going to give it away because it's so awesome, is at one point Michael kills a bunch of people on a playground. And there were two bodies on. Now, is that what do they call it? Carousel, or what is that?
It's the merry-go-round.
The old school playground, steel.
Yeah, where you got all the bars where you run around and then hop on and hold on for dear life so you don't fly off and break your arm.
So there's two dead bodies on one of these, and they are both wearing masks. You get a fleeting glimpse of the back of one of them
with the silver shamrock,
with a silver disc on the back that harkens to what we talked about earlier, the season of the witch. And I was giddy when I saw that. I had to rewind that 3 times to make sure I saw that right.
Yep.
And then I thought, well, look at the 2 masks of the 2 victims. Those are the masks from Season of the Witch, Halloween 3. And I was like, that's got to be one of the greatest of all time.
Brilliant.
Yes. So that kind of bumped it up for me just for something like that. The ending kind of, I don't know how I felt about the ending of this because you knew there was going to be a third.
Right.
So they kind of teased you with a false ending.
Yeah. And yeah. But just.
There were like 2 endings. There were like 2 endings. There was the false ending, and then there was the one
ending.
Right, which is really going
setting up.
Yeah, like
the
you said,
final
set up the final one. Right. And I thought that was the very, very ending, not the false ending, but the very, very end was almost an homage, if you look at how it was shot, to Psycho.
Yeah, it kind of was.
The quick cuts, no pun intended. And how it was filmed. I that was the other one I picked up on the silver shamrock, and I picked up on that at the end, how the very end was shot almost like an homage to Psycho.
Yeah. Well, go figure.
So I get the impression that I might have liked this a little more than you. But
perhaps
what are you giving it?
I went 2.5.
Oh, that's what I'm giving it. Okay.
So yeah, it was enjoyable. It wasn't phenomenal.
Right. Again, a fitting middle segment in the trilogy.
Yeah.
It's a nice bridge. But again, Jesus Christ, I know somebody out there's written one. There's got to be a handbook for people in horror movies, what not to do and how to survive.
And this goes for all horror movies and all psychopaths. When you have them down, unconscious, do not hesitate.
Dismember!
First step, you bash the frickin' head in.
I say dismember.
First step, bash the frickin' head in. If not, chop it off.
I take off the arms, the legs. I leave a lifeless torso.
And then you burn them individually miles apart.
Damn Skippy.
That's how you defeat evil. Do not hesitate.
This is why we don't get calls from Hollywood casting agents to put us in horror movies.
Do not hesitate. You take out the head, crush it in. That buys you that extra time. Lop the head off. Then you dismember everything else. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
All right, so Dave and I are actually simpatico on this. 2.5 frenzies for Halloween kills.
It's worth watching, kids.
Not bad at all. And again, happy that it did really well at the box office. Made almost $50 million.
Once the third one comes out, it's going to be a great
why would you not pay $5 at home to watch it? This is not one of those movies you need to see on the big screen.
No, it's not.
So drop $5, watch Peacock for a month. Get a WWE pay-per-view in there somewhere.
Oh my God. There you go.
All right, next week, I will be reviewing Dune. Dave might.
Possibly. I may find something else.
Yeah, we might have different reviews like last week. We might have different reviews for you next week. But, of course, we will be talking about our favorite horror movies.
Yep. Trailers.
Lots of them came out this week,
A
especially
lot
because
came
of
out.
DC Fandom this past weekend.
Yes, and my boys told me we don't like the guy playing Batman in Pattinson, but
Right.
watch the trailer. It doesn't look half bad.
It's a good trailer. I did
It's
watch
a
that.
really good trailer.
No.
I'm not giving anything away with the villains that you see popping up.
No, you see the Riddler, which
Riddler.
unfortunately we know is Paul Dano, who we both hate.
Catwoman.
Kravitz. Oh, she's a hot
pretty.
box of rocks.
She's pretty.
She is a hot box of rocks, let me tell you. I do not like, and isn't Carmine Falcone in there too?
Yeah.
And then of course there is one other that they will not show you.
Right.
Because at some point Batman goes into, I believe, Arkham Asylum, even though they don't show it.
Well, there was one glimpse of somebody.
But he's banging on the partition saying, "What have you done?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the trailer a lot.
I still
one problem I have though. One problem I have is when they show Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. Oh my freaking God! Are you kidding? Bruce Wayne does not have a big floppy millennial,
hair.
He is a man of privilege. He is a man who knows how to mix with.
He's not an emo snowflake.
Oh my God! He needs to be able to go to high society in Gotham in order to represent Wayne Enterprises. Robert Pattinson looks like he got kicked out of Flock of Seagulls. Okay?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing
it's
how
bad.
stupid he looks with the big hank of hair hanging over half his face. Okay?
That was pretty pathetic.
He does not look like Bruce Wayne.
I still do
he
not
looks better
buy
as Batman than he did as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I still don't buy him as the character.
Otherwise, yes, I did like Kravitz as Catwoman, Selena Kyle. Oh, God. I like the feel of the movie.
I'm not going to go to the theater to see it. Can't do it. I will not support Pattinson in that regard.
I don't know. By the time, what is it? April? Is it coming out?
Yeah.
Rolls around sometime early 2022. I thought it was okay, though. I'll give it a thumbs up. I thought at least it wasn't.
It wasn't
Clooney.
I was just going to say, it wasn't the nipple suit.
Yeah. And them racing up and down statues and
oh
my God, what a travesty that was. So what else did you see?
Watched the trailer for The Flash.
I have not seen that one yet. How was that?
With Michael Keaton. I don't know. It wasn't a great trailer.
I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest fan of Ezra Miller.
Neither am I. I think he's kind of a doofus.
Plus, I didn't even like the suit they gave him in Justice League.
No, it was bad.
It's too bulky and too robotic. He needs a streamlined suit, bare minimum, like on the TV show.
Right.
That's something they got right.
Something simple. But this one is just...
What Grant Gustin wears on The Flash on the CW is, that to me, is the one thing they got right on The Flash.
Yeah.
Although now it's a PC piece of garbage. At least the suit looks like the Flash.
Right. So then I watched the first look with your favorite actor currently, Mr.
Lord.
Dwayne Johnson.
Another movie. Oh, Black Adam. Black Adam.
His personal project.
How is he going to salvage the fact that he's going to have to come in and save Shazam? That piece of crap.
Shazam is the biggest piece of
Zach
garbage.
Levy. Talking about suits. Talking about the Flash suit. They went all the way back to the first Flash, the TV show from the early 80s with the bulked up rubber muscles. Yeah. And they decided now in this day and age that would be cool
that for
Shazam.
No. I'm sorry. I never even bothered with it because the trailers looked so god awful.
Yeah, it was barely better than trailers.
And I can't stand Levy.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Barely
casting.
Better than trailers. Barely.
So Black Adam, the special effects look abso-freaking-lutely phenomenal. from the first look we got to see.
Okay.
It could have potential. So,
Well, I guess if you look at it as like a villain movie, of course, the only problem I know is they're going to bring them together for the next Shazam movie.
oh God.
So, no matter how good Black Adam ends up being, they're going to ruin it when they bring him into the next Shazam movie.
They better frickin' recast it and get a better damn suit.
No. Shazam actually did well enough where they're happy with.
God, it was abysmal.
Speaking of comic book movies, the next wave of Marvel movies have all been pushed back again. Not too far, a month or two in most instances. So once we get done with the Eternals here next month, then everything's kind of bumped back. I don't think after Spider-Man there's anything until next summer. Where before, I think we were supposed to have Doctor Strange in March.
Yeah.
And now that's been pushed back into summer.
And when the hell are we getting Guardians 3?
It's coming. Of course, did you know there's like
Guardians? So is Stranger Things.
Do you know there's a Guardians of the Galaxy video game coming out in the next couple weeks?
I heard something about that.
PlayStation?
Yeah. They don't always translate well.
Yes, but we did talk about Guardians last week because of Adam Warlock being cast. So it is coming.
Way too damn long in development.
My last little tidbit of movie news before we wrap up segment 1 here on the Weekend Edition has to do with one of our personal favorite movie franchises, and we knew this was coming, but it's now official. Sylvester Stallone has said, I am done with the Expendables now that Expendables 4 has wrapped.
Ugh!
But he says, I am passing it along in the very capable hands of Jason Statham.
Yes.
So the franchise is not done. Stallone is just saying, I'm
his
out.
Character is done.
Right.
But we still have Christmas to continue.
Right.
And as long as Statham can bring Dolph along for the ride.
Yeah, we'll see who survives here.
Yes.
The next Expendables. Dolph is coming back. Most of the usual cast of characters are coming back. So I'm looking forward to this. I will be very curious to see how this does.
I will be curious to see how well they do it.
I think there's still built-in appeal, there is an audience out there for action movies. We've seen it with John Wick. John Wick came out of nowhere, became a huge smashing success, and we'll talk about that later on.
Nobody did very well.
Right, nobody did surprisingly well, considering it was released during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I think
people want this type of movie.
They need to escape.
Exactly.
Wrath of Man with Jason Statham, again, released in the pandemic, like nobody, did very well. Mid-20s in terms of domestic box office gross, which is very good, especially given the limitations they had for action movies.
Right.
And usually they're pretty low budget, not a lot of special effects, only one actor usually they have to pay.
Yeah.
So that's why you see Liam Neeson movies all the time.
Yeah. They just pay him and whoever else, and they're cheap and quick turnaround. And
yep. So, yes, there will be some John Wick news coming in the next segment.
We need more John Wick in our lives.
Yes, so you stay tuned, kids. Next up, our TV and streaming news and reviews of the week. We will be right back. Now that we've let you into Frenzy Club, here are 3 rules. 1, you don't talk about Sports Frenzy 2.0. You listen to it on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all other major podcast hosts. 2 guys to a show. Kev and Dave, the Maestro and the Conquistador. 3, 1 Sports Frenzy episode at a time. Until Saturday, when you get the Weekend Edition. Now get in there and let loose on some PC wussbags, will ya?
Hey kids, it's the Conquistador Dave Height,
Along with the maestro, Kevin Crane.
and here we are on the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. We're recording on October 20th, 2021. This will hit on the 23rd, and this segment is TV and streaming news and updates for you. So we'll start off with a couple of our weekly updates, some of our favorites. Let's go with the vampires and what we do in the shadows. As Nandor wants to be human.
He joined a cult. He joined a cult is what happened. Except the cult looks like an 80s aerobic studio.
Think, let's get physical. The old Olivia Newton
Leg
John.
warmers and headbands
God.
and
Wow.
But of course, this is now going to be I have a feeling got an
this is another
storyline that's going to carry us through the end of the season.
Yeah, this is another one that's going to come back.
Yep.
On our hapless group.
Yep. Yeah, because this episode ends without a resolution per se. I don't want to spoil
it.
Let's just say there is more coming on multiple levels.
It flames out in the end.
So we have a new nemesis for the vampires.
Guillermo once again comes to the rescue.
Yes, Guillermo's Van Helsing blood.
God.
Even though they keep telling him he's not a bodyguard, but he is.
Yeah, he's a bodyguard. He's not a bodyguard. He's no longer a familiar. Watch what we do in the shadows, kids. You will not be disappointed.
Yep. Still got a couple episodes at least left from what I've seen.
Yes.
Then, of course, we've got Titans. The season finale is tomorrow night, the 21st.
Oh!
But I have news. We talked about the DC fandom last weekend with all the trailer releases and a ton of news, including Titans and Doom Patrol have both already been renewed for season 4.
Yes, score.
So, Titans is coming back. So, tomorrow night's season finale is not the end.
Thank God, because there's a lot to be resolved, kids.
Doom Patrol's not even done with season 3 yet, and they're going to have a season 4. So.
Excellent. So, yes, Titans, the Lazarus Pit comes into play yet again.
Can I ask you something about that? Is that lazy writing?
It is. Because it's very lazy.
They've been overusing the Lazarus Pit too much this season, haven't they?
That's twice.
That's too much. Oh, superhero dies, put him in the Lazarus Pit, bring him back to life.
But at least the second time, you see what transpires.
You have to fight. You have to go through some sort of a quest to get out of the Lazarus Pit.
Yes. And how you fight and your decisions determine, are you who you were before, or are you somebody different?
Right.
That's the twist I liked. That's why I liked the second part, so you could see the process of it.
I also really liked, I don't want to spoil anything, but we know from past episodes that Superboy is half Superman, half Lex Luthor, and I'm just going to say...
And you see some tendencies...
that the Lex Luthor side might be coming out.
Just a little bit there.
So, I like that. I like that little twist.
The little dark side to Superboy?
Yeah, that we've put into there. And of course, we're still looking for Donna Troy and Tim Drake trying to get out of the city. The mess that Gotham has become.
The cesspool.
Still wondering if Batman's going to come back.
Don't know. Donna kind of left him.
She saved him, but...
That's all you know.
Yep. One episode left.
Go.
Thursday night. Well, basically, probably 12:01 on the 21st of October. You will get your final answers for season 3 of Titans. Then we got Tacoma.
Still don't have fucking
Are
access.
you still having issues with that?
Yes. And it's pissing me the hell off.
I don't understand. Do you have True TV on Comcast?
Obviously not.
That's weird. I would have thought that would, because that's got basketball. March Madness is on that during
maybe I
the
don't
NCAA
know.
basketball season.
Yeah, I did. I actually this week I didn't have time to check, so I didn't get to even try. But I'm still so pissed off from last week that I didn't even look.
Okay. Well, I will not spoil anything for you other than to say there was a lot of talk about carpet and sexual harassment.
Nice.
So I will leave
So
that.
it redeemed itself from the previous week when you said it was the weak link.
Yeah, this one was better. This was
Okay.
better. Yeah, last week, almost all the installments of all our shows were a little weaker. So they kind of all bounced back this week.
Okay.
This
That's
past week.
good. All right. I have to go network TV and give you your NCIS recap. Mark Harmon has now ended his run after 18 plus years. Leroy Jethro Gibbs is officially no longer part of the team. And the beginning episodes were kind of a fitting end for his character fading out into the sunset. So, pretty well done. He went out on his terms. So, there you go. And it will continue on with a new group. So,
yeah, it's one of those shows like Law and Order that just isn't going to die.
Right. It's not. And it's got Fez. Come on.
Again, let Fez go. Let him go over to that 90s show.
So that was pretty good.
All right. I watched 2 horror shows. The first episodes last week debuted, both on Sci-Fi. I think Chucky is available both on Sci-Fi and USA.
I just can't.
All right. So I will tell you that your instincts, obviously, from what you've just groaned into the microphone, your instincts on Chucky are pretty spot on. I watched the first episode. I don't think I'm going to be watching any more.
One movie was enough. Was more than enough.
Yeah, Chucky is everything I hate about modern television or streaming. It's politically correct, over the top. Half the characters are gay. All the characters are written in such broad strokes, you know.
There's no character development.
The redneck dad has got to be mean, and he's not understanding. And of course, somehow they let this kid take Chucky to school with him and walks around the halls and goes to class carrying Chucky with him everywhere he goes. There is no way, even in this day and age. I mean, what is he, a support doll now?
Yes, an emotional support doll.
Jesus God. I mean, this couldn't have been done any worse than it was. And I don't see how they can drag this out into a complete series.
See, kids, sometimes your Uncle Dave knows what he's talking about.
Now, I will say the other one I watched, Day of the Dead, was actually not bad.
Was halfway decent.
Day of the Dead, I have not watched George Romero's original in quite some time, but this is supposedly loosely based on Day of the Dead, the third of the original Living Dead trilogy.
Yeah.
So I just took it for what it was. It's a zombie show. It has a good sense of humor. The actors and actresses are not stupid. They actually do try to somehow, unlike what we were talking about in our last segment with Halloween Kills, they actually have some kind of semblance of, here's what I need to do to get away from a bunch of zombies.
And I'm going to do it the right way.
Now, sometimes
I'm not going to hide in a shed full of chainsaws.
Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So, because at the end of episode 1, they do end up, they look like they're doing the right thing and ends up being a complete and total clusterfuck. So we'll see where that goes. There is a great scene involving a cemetery and a riding lawnmower. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Do we get a Tucker and Dale moment?
Yeah. All I know is there is a lot of stuff. They're not bagging. Let's put it that way.
So
they're mulching. They're mulching.
So we do get a Tucker and Dale moment.
Yep. So I will probably stick with Day of the Dead for a while. I probably will bail on Chucky.
All right. All right. Mrs. C and I finished off Squid Game, the be-all, end-all, currently on Netflix. 9 episodes of this Korean show, which, damn it, will suck you in. You have characters you love, characters you absolutely hate, characters you don't know about, and trying to find out the truth behind what's going on. And none of the episodes lag. They all fly right on by. Very well done. If you listen to it dubbed, it's different than if you read the subtitles.
Which one's better?
I have not actually seen the whole thing with the subtitles.
Okay.
Because I prefer not to read my movie.
I agree with you on that.
So, but the dubbing, they try to make it so it syncs up better, which I would just as soon have them give me the correct translation instead of trying to make it fit.
Gotcha.
So, from what I understand, it can be 2 different type of ways to watch it, what you're going to get out of it. But overall, the story, it's pretty damn good. I will give it 3.
3 frenzies.
3 frenzies.
And I'm going to start up my Netflix again here next weekend for, 2 weekends from now, I should say, right? Or next weekend? We'll review 2 weekends. I'm starting it up next weekend, but in 2 weekends, we will review The Return of Dieter.
An Army of Thieves.
Right. So then when I do that, I'm going to check out Squid Games.
You will never play red light, green light the same way
Although
again.
I am, hearing that it's subtitled. Oof. Okay.
Just do the dubbed and get through it so you don't have to read it.
All right. Yeah, because I'm with you. I do not like reading my movies. Bunch of TV news to wrap up segment 2. I know Dave has been watching Jack Ryan on Amazon. A little bit on and off.
On and off. Actually, no, I've seen the first 2 seasons.
All right. Season 4 is coming. I don't even think season 3 is hit yet.
No, season 3 is not hit yet.
But it's already been renewed for season 4.
Very cool. That's one the boys and I have enjoyed watching together.
Eventually, again, I'll try to get into that. I've told you I have issues with Krasinski as Jack Ryan. It's not like Bosch, where Titus Welliver is awesome. It's my fault I haven't kept up with Bosch, but he's perfect from what I can tell.
Krasinski is not bad as Ryan.
Who is the best Jack Ryan?
Oh, God.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Now, have you seen all the movies?
Not all of them. I haven't seen the last one.
See, I would actually defer to the original. I might go with Alec Baldwin. It's definitely not Chris Pine.
No, Pine was
probably not Ben Affleck. And Harrison Ford, okay.
No. I no. if you're looking at the true analyst with some semblance of a background in it, Krasinski's not bad. Get over the office hump.
I will.
Just distance yourself from the whole Jim persona.
He's just not one of my favorite actors. I don't dislike him.
Give it a shot. Give it a
All
chance.
right, I will. And I've got one that you're eventually going to have to give a shot to, if you haven't already, because Pennyworth has now been renewed for season 3 and is moving to HBO Max.
Then I will finally get to watch it.
Yes, and they are bringing the first 2 seasons along.
Yes, I have been wanting to see this.
Yep. It'll be well worth your time. I've got the first 2 on Blu-ray.
That's another one the boys and I have been anxious to see.
A deal was made here, announced again at Fandom, where Pennyworth will now be moving to HBO Max for season 3. And the first 2 seasons will move over so you can catch up.
Excellent.
Unfortunately for me, because I was just starting to get into it, boy, Hulu sucks. Hulu sucks. Hulu did not renew Hellstrom, of course, based on Marvel's Son of Satan.
Right.
And now they've already canceled Y the Last Man before the first season even wrapped up.
What the flip?
So
come on.
Now it's like I don't even know what the point is of finishing up the season.
There is no point.
Yeah, and it was really good. I was really enjoying it. I think I was 4 episodes in. Really enjoying Y the Last Man, and one of those Vertigo edgy DC ones like Preacher and Lucifer.
Right.
Nope.
Nothing.
No.
Son of a biscuit.
Now, what Hulu has said they're going to go forward with might intrigue you. Of course, I know you don't have Hulu. And I'm going to cancel mine here pretty soon. But this is kind of fun. We are finally going to get History of the World Part 2.
Oh, my God.
Mel Brooks is putting together a short, limited series.
Oh, my God.
Hulu.
I may have to get a trial just to watch that.
History of the World Part 2 will be coming at some point to Hulu.
Finally. Finally.
Decades upon decades of waiting. And if you have never watched the first History of the World Part 1, check it out.
You know,
the big doobie. There's the big doobie.
You know, it took a miracle for this to happen. And I only hope they bring Miracle back.
So, kind of cool to hear Mel Brooks coming back. God. Especially with this.
That's brilliant. And it better not be PC. It better be classic Mel Brooks.
Well, Hulu has been trying to be a little bit edgier, so
thank God.
Even though it's owned now by the Rat.
Yeah.
Finally, to wrap up TV and streaming for the week, as I alluded to, I have John Wick news.
Finally.
Now, you knew that they've already said they're going to do 5, right?
They were doing 4, 5 continual.
Well, you were talking about getting a free preview of Hulu. I think you're going to have to get a free preview of Stars too, or do you have that?
Stars might be part of our package. I will have to check.
Because that is
where we do have Stars because that's how I was able to watch Black Sails.
Well, then you're in good luck because coming soon, probably late 22, early 2023, is The Continental.
Yes.
The prequel series explaining how Winston, a young Winston, stumbled into running the hotel that is central to the John Wick movies. Mel Gibson will star in it, playing a new character.
Nice.
They've cast, I don't know who the kid is, they have cast young Winston. But that will be a very cool limited series on Stars.
Very cool.
Explaining the history and the background, going back to the 1970s of the Continental.
I like it.
So, good news on the TV and streaming front this week. And of course, Dave showed me We talked about Psych 3. Dave just showed me the
sequel
trailer.
to the sequel, This Is Gus.
So that looks phenomenal.
Oh, the trailer is awesome, kids.
And of course, it has Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears in it. So you better stick around because we get to the third segment. We're reviewing the new Tears for Fears song.
There you go.
How about that for synergy and a segue?
All wraps together.
That's right. All in a nice, tight blanket bundle of freaking karma. That's what we do here on the weekend edition on Sports Frenzy.
All right, kids, get ready for music.
We'll be right back. In the fortress of solitary justice, two brave men hold the fate of the sports world in their hands, with the utterance of a single word: Frenzy! These seemingly ordinary men become the maestro and the conquistador, destined to save the world from stupidity on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all noble podcast hosts everywhere. Dave and Kev stand for truth, justice, and the frenzy way. Hey everybody, welcome back to the final segment of the Weekend Edition Sports Frenzy 2.0, taping on the 20th of October 2021. This will hit on the 23rd. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
And don't forget, we are available Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, everywhere you listen to your fine podcasts. Well, of course, we're the finest of them all.
Damn straight.
Check out our Facebook page. Don't forget to leave us a message commenting on maybe your favorite horror movie of all time.
Yep. Give us something to get ready for next week.
What did you think of Halloween Kills? And coming up here in just a moment, what did you think of the new Doobie Brothers album? We are going to review Liberte.
Liberte.
Again, I hate to say it like that because it sounds like Cartman.
I know.
I don't know what else
you
to
can't
do
not
with it.
do it.
I don't know what else
you
to do with it.
can't not do the Cartman impersonation with it.
It's too easy.
It's the low-hanging fruit.
Yep. So let me give you a little background on this, kids. We have been waiting forever to see the Doobie Brothers on their current tour, which has been postponed 3 times on us, okay? So by the time we finally hopefully get to see them next summer, we'll be literally looking at almost 3 years between the time the concert was announced and we bought tickets
to when we actually get to see them.
Right. Now, one of the deals with this particular show, just like with Jimmy Buffett, who we saw for the first concert of the year this year was Jimmy Buffett,
which was a year postponed.
Right. But part of the thing was with Jimmy Buffett, you buy tickets, you get a copy of his new album, Life on the Flip Side.
Yeah.
Which was a great deal. Kind of the same deal with the Doobie Brothers, except they were more vague about what we were getting. They said
we got an EP.
Yeah, initially they said you're going to get an EP of live tracks from the tour. And it turned out that what happened was because they put together Liberte, they were a little cheap in that they could have given us free copies.
We should have gotten the whole album, but we got 4 songs.
Basically, the first 4 songs off of Liberte shuffled around in a different order.
Right.
The reason why I wanted to bring that up is because when I was doing my review, as I listened to this album, I wanted to say there's a reason why they only did the first 4 songs on the EP is because those are really the only 4 decent songs on the entire album.
You know, you're right. It's a tale of 2 albums. Because those first 4 are the most solid, and then it gets weaker. But once you hit song 7, that's about the last one that was palatable to listen to. The last half was just ugh.
See, you're being nicer than me.
I am.
I have my list here, and I'm looking at the same thing as you in terms of those 4 songs from the EP we got, which would be Oh Mexico, Better Days, Don't You Mess With Me, and Cannonball.
Yeah.
After that, I go, the next 4 songs are just terribly generic and boring. Maybe the American Dream was okay.
American Dream was okay. Wherever We Go was kind of...
I didn't like that at all. That was probably my least favorite song on the... That was so generic. And look at my note, Dave. Look at what I wrote. We could write better songs than these.
I really did not like from We Are More Than Love.
That could be the worst song. Sorry. That might be the worst.
Awful. No. Amen, Old Friend was pretty bad too.
Yeah, I got you on that one.
Easy,
too.
Just Can't Do This Alone. Good Thing. That second half is just awful.
Yeah, and Just Can't Do This Alone sounds like they almost cribbed the guitar part from Long Train Running.
See, I thought listen to the music.
See,
I got part of that, and then you had the whole We Are More Than Love, Easy, and Just Can't Do This Alone. Had that 70s disco-ish type vibe.
Yeah.
It was...
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not good for the Doobie Brothers because ever since Michael McDonald left in their early 80s final heyday, and I'm not going to give Michael McDonald credit for who the Doobie Brothers are. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because back in the 70s, listen to the music, Long Train Running, Blackwater, Michael McDonald was not a big influence on that band at all back then.
He wasn't.
It was Johnston and Simmons, and that's the core of the band now, but they just sound like they're a washed up, generic. Yeah. I'm sorry, they don't sound like they've got anything left in the tank.
No, outside of those first four, I thought, oh my God, listening to those first four, I'm like, this is really damn good. And then it went down the toilet quickly from there.
And again, I still think this is the kind of music, again, talking about song 5 and on, from wherever we go on, that it's kind of stuff where you go, I could write better shit than this. I really could.
Yeah. See, now
there's no depth to the songs. It's all cliches. It's all...
We Are More Than Love is something Adam Levine would have done.
Yeah, and even the American Dream, even though it's a little catchy, the lyrics,
it's generic.
The top's down, the radio's on. It's okay. How often do we have to do the same imagery?
Right.
Over and over and over again. Come up with something different. So this was really depressingly even less than mediocre for me. I will give it 1.5 frenzies.
I was going to go 2 just for the top 4.
Yeah, I can see that, but
it, yeah,
I can't justify a third of an album being more than 1.5.
Yeah,
because literally
it's tough to do.
Everything after Cannonball is just, to me, garbage.
Yeah, that's where it went. I had such high hopes through Cannonball, and then it started to just go downhill, and then it fell off the cliff after the American Dream.
And I think maybe you might even like the first 4 better than me, because
probably
Oh Mexico was it was okay, but kind of reminded me of
Roger Clyne.
No, that Jimmy Buffett.
A little bit of either one.
Yeah.
Better Days had that Boys of Summer feel to it.
Yeah, now see, 3 and 4 were my favorites. Don't You Mess With Me and Cannonball were the only 2 on the album that I really, really, really liked and would listen to again.
Yeah, I enjoyed Cannonball.
But if
Cannonball had that folksy little groove to it.
Right. Probably the closest to classic Doobie Brothers on the entire album.
Yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately I go 1.5. Dave goes 2. Probably really can't recommend it.
No.
Outside of, like we've been talking about, the first 4 songs. So if you want to buy my EP...
Glad we didn't get the full one.
Hey, it's a collector's item. It's an exclusive, so $100 you can have it. All right, before we get on to our song reviews, we have to bring up, again, more trouble for Vince Neil.
Oh.
Vince Neil falls off the stage in Tennessee last week, breaking his ribs. This coming on the heels of last year.
How did he break his ribs? His Job of the Hut.
There is video out there of this, and it's just literally
Oh, God.
You just see him 1 minute, and the next minute he's gone.
That's brutal.
It'll be a miracle if they get this massive Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, Joan Jett thing
show
going next
It's
year.
not gonna happen. They might as well just write that one off.
You know, between the fact that everybody says his voice is shot and now this.
You can't go on. You probably have to drop the crew off that tour.
We'll see. There's too much money at stake. Too much money involved.
Yeah.
They'll figure out a way to push through, but I got a bad feeling it is not going to be the greatest show in the world.
One that I'm glad we did not bite early.
Yeah.
So I know the boys want to see all of them, but I can't justify the tickets with Neil being in this kind of shape.
Yeah, it's just not a good sign. It is just not a good sign at all. Now, we've also got a couple songs last week we told you we were going to review. Bryan Adams, the first release off his upcoming album, So Happy It Hurts. I liked it better than the Doobie Brothers stuff, but it still comes off kind of generic. But it's a little bit catchier, a little bit better.
It does have that more of the Bryan Adams vibe to it.
Right.
You know where it's coming from. It's catchy. It was enjoyable. So I went 3 on it.
I can't go 3 on it. I probably go 2.5. I'll go 2.5.
There you go.
Now, this is going to be the interesting one because this is a little bit more atmospheric and esoteric than we would normally.
Tipping Point, Tears for Fears.
The title track off of the first Tears for Fears album in 17 years. The Tipping Point came out. The album comes out February of next year. What'd you think?
It felt like a Tears for Fears song. Not one of their strongest. So, knowing who they are and all, it's 2 for me.
Okay, so you and I are going to kind of go oppo here because I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was, again, atmospheric. I thought it was catchy. It was good to hear them again after so long. I'm going 3. 3 Frenzies. I liked it.
There you go.
Definitely something I will be listening to again. Will I buy the album? I don't know.
See, I was never that big of a Tears for Fears fan to begin with.
Well, you take away.
If
you take away songs from the Big Chair, they've really never put out a full album of great material.
Right.
So that's the one caveat to my review. Is that while I like this song, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna
go out
expect that the full album is going to be fantastic.
Right.
So, all right, for next week, previewing the reviews we're going to do next week, we are going to look at Duran Duran's new album.
Yes.
Future Past comes out this Friday.
Our guilty pleasure band.
Yes. We've always admitted Duran Duran's awesome. They don't get enough credit. They should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, they should.
So we will review the new album. I just heard they put a new video out where they're cavorting with celebrity impersonators. So they obviously still have a sense of humor.
And if you can find it, kids, check out the original video for Girls on Film.
Oh, jeez.
That was made to be shown in clubs.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah, don't get us in too much trouble there, Dave. Well, what the hell do we care? We're explicit, so
that's right.
It doesn't matter. I have suggested to Dave, even though it would not seem like something we would normally review, and I have to admit, I did not listen to the original album, the original collaboration between Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. I believe it was Raising Sand back in 2007.
Yeah,
but now they're coming back with their second album, The one song I've heard, though, is phenomenal. So we're going to review that next week. It is called High and Lonesome.
We'll let you know what we think of that one.
Yep. And then I have asked Dave to listen in on Local H's new.
I like a Local H, so I'm looking forward to this.
And I can't believe this slipped by me, where they've been putting out these cover albums. This will be their third. I believe it's Quarantine Mix number 3.
Oh, because they're under quarantine and they can't come up with anything original.
They just put out a new album last year. What are you talking about? You still never reviewed it, by the way. That was something we promised the people months ago. You were supposed to review Lifers, even though it came out in 2020. You don't remember that, do you?
No, I do not.
You promised that. I had a full review all set.
I'll eventually get there. Life got in the way.
Listen to the Local H covers. If you can't find the whole Quarantine Mix number 3, if it doesn't come out like it's supposed to this weekend, at least listen to the
a couple songs that are released.
Fantastic covers of When Doves Cry and Robert Plant's Big Log.
So we're going with a theme.
Yeah, a little bit of Robert Plant. See how that works out. So of course we've already mentioned that we will be reviewing possibly both of us Dune.
Potentially.
At least one of us. And then leading into the coming weeks, we will have Dieter coming back.
Army of Thieves, baby.
So we hope you enjoyed the weekend edition. I'm the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
We should do our moments of silence, shouldn't we?
We should. We really should.
I have only got one.
Sign off. Let me
in tribute to my neighbor Dave, who loves Andy Griffith. Betty Lynn passed away, who was Thelma Lou, Barney Fife's girlfriend.
Yep.
So, of course, all of you kids out there in podcast land are going, what the hell are you talking about? Andy Griffith, the Andy Griffith Show was one of the most revered, beloved shows of the 50s and the 60s.
And the 60s.
Yeah.
Ron Howard pretty much got his acting start as Little Opie Taylor on that show.
And Don Knotts, the immortal Don Knotts, played Barney Fife, Andy Griffith's hapless deputy.
Yep. Had his gun unloaded and kept a bullet in his top pocket of his shirt. There you go. All right. We've got, for all you nostalgic folks, Ronnie Tutt, the drummer for Elvis Presley and Jerry Garcia, has passed away. Also played with Neil Diamond, Billy Joel, and Johnny Cash. And voice actor from Super Friends and the Transformers. He also did some work on Aladdin, Spirited Away, and Monsters, Inc. Jack Angel passed away. So, a lot of popular cartoons and animated shows in there.
All right. And I do have a couple dumbasses. I'm sorry. I kind of gave us a false close there. Didn't mean to. But
premature ending.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to take a blue pill for that. Or no, do I take a blue pill for that? Or
yes.
Is there another thing I have to take for
Blue
that?
Chew.
Blue Chew, okay.
Roman.
Yeah, non-discreetly delivered to your front door in a plain brown package.
What could this be?
I'm used to getting those. All right. Is it not insulting enough that this idiot actually got to have sex with the wonderful Kim Kardashian, but now he can't figure out what his name's going to be? Well, now we do know what his name's going to be. Kanye West's name has been officially changed thanks to some stupid liberal judge on the West Coast. Now he will be known as Ye. Y-E. Ye. Ye. Now, like Liberte, do you say ye, yay?
I would think it would be yay.
Like Kanye,
Kanye,
right? So it has
short
to be yay.
For Kanye,
even though
yay.
It's ye, like
I
in the old medieval, when you say,
hear
ye, peasants,
hear ye.
Ye peasants. Yeah. So
Yay.
Yeah. God,
What? Oh,
what a nut.
God.
What a nut. Another freaking celebrity nut job.
Yep, pretty much.
And of course, we have to end with this idiocy. We talked about it before. We talked about Superman and how Superman's son, Superman and Lois's
Oh,
son,
God.
was going to become a bisexual in the comic books.
Why not? Robin's already.
Well, now they're changing the Superman slogan. It will no longer be truth, justice, and the American way. It will now be truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
How is it a better tomorrow?
Well, the two events, the one we talked about last week with Superman's son, who I guess there are now two Supermen,
Superman
and his son.
and
I guess Superman couldn't handle
Superman Jr.
patrolling the entire world, so he had to enlist his son to help him. And like we talked about, after a particularly stressful day of saving people, he goes, turns around, and kisses a dude. Of course, got to be a journalist.
Of course.
Of course, he's got a crush on a
Because
journalist.
he's got mommy issues, obviously.
So now they're changing the slogan to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. And number one, I am ashamed that Jim Lee is behind all this. Jim Lee, I guess, is the creative director now behind DC. One of the greatest comic book artists of all time. A man whose work I admired and loved on the X-Men. is the guy that's pulling the strings on all this crap. Shame on you, Jim Lee. Shame on you. I am so disgusted.
There you go.
I got one good part about this, though, to wrap up. One really positive way to spin this dumbass bullshit into some kind of a positive. Because of all this, and kids, go out, Google it, listen to the podcast. I don't have the name of it, but there's a podcast out there that features Superman colorist Gabe Eltaeb, last name Eltaeb. He went on, you think we curse a lot. This dude went on a rant, dropping F-bombs left and right and everywhere. He is a colorist for DC on the Superman comics, especially the ones where they're pulling this crap, where Superman's son, his progeny, is turning gay or bisexual. And he basically says, the minute my contract is done with DC, I'm out, because this is effing bullshit that they're doing this to these characters. So we are starting to hear pushback. We are starting to hear that people who work for these companies are getting fed up
with what they're being forced to do. Behind whatever agenda is there. Again, if you want that type of character, come up with a new one. And you will not get any pushback.
Well,
quit taking existing and twisting everything around.
We were talking in
That's
the first segment.
It will be more accepted if it's a brand new character than force feeding somebody already existing.
Yeah, a point we missed when we reviewed Halloween Kills in the first segment was Big John and Little John.
Oh, yeah.
Two characters in Halloween Kills, two gay men.
Yep. Neither one acts like the stereotypical that they're usually written as. Which we thought was brilliant because you don't have the from either one. They're just two guys. They're
actually probably two of the most likable characters in the movie.
Yeah, hands down.
But again, original characters, Not a problem with them being gay because it's not forced on you. And like you said, it's not overwritten to the point where they're stereotypical flamers.
Right. And everybody says, oh, stop stereotyping. Well, guess what? You make yourself stereotypical when you act that way and promote yourself that way and expect to see that in movies and TV shows.
Well, and plus you look at, we haven't really talked about it. I'm not a big Dave Chappelle fan. I have never really watched his stand up, but the whole thing going on with Netflix right now, this is a perfect example of where this country is going.
Chappelle is a brilliant comic,
but he's very religious and at the same time very anti-gay. But of course, now there are a coalition of people working for Netflix that want to just redo the entire management structure because how dare you actually let this guy be on Netflix? They want posters of him in the lobbies ripped down.
If you have to have both sides, people. Sorry.
You have to have balance. The pendulum has swung too far the other way. You can talk about past injustices of society, past wrongs, but now we've pushed
now you can't go so far the other way to exclude everything and create your pseudo-utopian views.
Because your utopian views are ironically exclude other people.
Exactly.
Keep that in mind. Think about it. Mull it. I'm sure we'll revisit it again at some point. It'll come up in some way, shape, or form in a song or a movie or a TV show, and we'll have to call it out and rip it apart.
The problem is forcing it. Yes, we can be accepting of it, but don't make it blatant and shove it in everywhere where it doesn't need to be.
Boy, I could take that and run with it.
I know. I was setting you up for that one.
Oh boy. That's a softball right there.
I know.
I will let it go in the guise of trying to be mature and accepting. But I do agree with everything you said. We've got to get over this, everything swinging back too far the other way, where we're now penalizing everybody for things that were perceived to have been done 30, 40, 50 years ago that aren't even affecting the people right now who claim they are being abused and ridiculed. You're not. You're getting more attention, you're getting more airtime, you're getting more screen time than you should because you're a disproportionate amount of society in terms of what's put in commercials, what's put in shows versus where you are in society. 10% of society should not dictate what the other 90% does. Sorry, that's not how things are supposed to work. All right, that being said, now I think we are ready to close out. We are ready
to be done. He's the maestro.
He's a conquistador.
We'll see you next time.
Scary movies next week. Don't forget. Bring your list.